So now we will go and do my favorite technique of them all, which is called punching the underhook from the knee cut. This is a technique that I recently did at the ADCC trials to a few opponents. It's something that I also did at the Nogi Euros, and it's something that works extremely well at the highest levels. Many people use this, and it's something that basically, if it's successful, it will destroy our opponent's guard, more or less, eventually. So we will do similar attacks. Can be any of the knee cuts that we've done. But now, once I go for the knee cut position, I like to think of the knee cut as a position. I don't think of it as a pass, because from here, I have many options. My opponent also has many options. So sometimes he's fast and he's able to bring this hand in framing me away like this. This also happens if I'm entering, for instance, instead of using the split squat or the headquarters entry, I'm just using the same grips, and I will just penetrate with my knees inside like this. So for him, it makes sense to use this hand to block me. So now I don't have the underhook anymore. And if I would try to pass from here, you can try, but we're far away from our opponent. So it's quite hard to do offensively good work at this position. So what we look to do is facing our opponent like this, and I'm gonna lean into him. He needs to push me off with this hand. So again, he's spending energy. I lean, and once I feel comfortable, I will take a small lean back. So this breaks the connection in between my chest and his hand. So I will lean back, and I'm gonna use my left hand and my thumb to go to his wrist, and my second hand is gonna turn his elbow like this. Kind of like a kimura. Again, we're slapping our opponent's hand, but you don't want to slap at the same time and twist nothing. So we actually need to be doing a motion like this. Like this. So again, you need to pressure in, he needs to push you off. If for some reason he's not pressuring in, his elbow is relaxed, I can just close this distance and go through his guard, like so. But most of the times, he will actually be pushing into you. Now this is a great moment to practice. So I push in, I lean back. Now his hand is extended, but we don't have a connection. If I would try to do this move whilst I'm pushing in, it's too strong, nothing will bend. But when I lean back slightly, now this hand can be moved. It's strong, but can be moved. So I will push the wrist to the side, and I'm gonna go and smack him here right under the elbow on his triceps, so I can turn this hand. And I will keep pushing this wrist until it goes to the kimura grip. And then I can just drop my elbow to his belly like this. So this is a great way to get rid of the hand that's pushing, but still he has his knee in blocking me. But for the moment, we're just gonna look to punch with underhook to the side. So this is something that happens. You're pushing in, he's pushing back, you lean back, and you will punch and twist his hand like this. Once you have this one down, I recommend you to do that exercise a few times. You arrive to a position like this, where you're holding his tricep, and now your elbow is in the pocket in between his ribs and his leg, like this. His knee is still bothering me. There's quite a few ways that we can address this one. Something that I like to do in this position is actually leaning forward like this. And now if you pay attention to this hand, I'm gonna collect his head with this hand, and I'm gonna make this underhook a little bit tighter. What this does, it allows me to control my opponent's spine, and also it blocks him from extending his body. Try to extend, yeah, it's very hard. If I don't do this, look how powerful he is if he's bringing his head back and pushing the knee. I'm wide open again. But once I arrive here, pay attention to how I collect his head with my hand. Try to do this now. Very difficult. And whenever he's extending, I can just turn my knee to the side and slide over his body. I don't have to worry about him breaking away from me because I'm holding this grip. So I can just pull him close to me at all times. Once you clear the knee, you can do the same exercise as we've done before. Elbow goes towards the floor, you hold his shoulder, you lift his elbow up, and we have same deep side control as we've done before. So now we're breaking this into layers. This can happen from a couple different options. Maybe I try the knee cut, not so successful. He's able to push me. If he's able to bring this knee in, for him this position is quite good. So again, now we go from passing into pushing into our opponent. Pay attention to here how I lean into him. Then I lean back. I will push his wrist away, and I will turn his hand with my hand like so. I will close my fingers around his tricep, and I drop my knee into his belly and his ribs like this. Now for him to break away is quite hard. You can also use your hand here if he's trying to extend, but usually what happens, you will be able to post on the floor. This also makes my weight lean forward like this. And now, once I arrive here, all I need to do is bring my hand back and basically 5 fingers on the floor, hold the floor. For him, it's hard now to extend his body. Basically, he's all mine. I can try the sideways slide like we've done before, or sometimes if I just move my hips to the side and bring back, we clear the knee line by doing just that. And here you can drop the elbow, hold his shoulder, lift his second elbow. And as you remember, if this elbow is unavailable, there's no problem. You just go wrist to wrist, lean forward, and you can slice right through. Or if he's holding the half guard, you help with the second leg until you clear. So if we do this from this angle, this is my favorite technique of all, and I like to do this a lot when I'm using the C-grips, and I just step inside, and I really want him to push, so I allow him to push, and I'm pretending that this is actually bothering me. So I push in, I lean back. Pay attention to how my hips and my whole upper body goes up, and I will push this hand to the side. And now we need to turn. It's not enough if I just do this. So you need to actually turn his hand to the side. And now, holding the tricep, dropping your elbow, you can reach over your opponent's head like this. His knee will still give me bobbles, but as soon as I curl his body like this, even if he's extending, he's not so powerful here as he would be if his head is free. Now this could be a problem, but here you don't have so many problems with him extending. You can do the one where you open your knee to the side, you just drop your hips from the same position, elbow goes towards the floor, and you will just slide until you reach the hip line and lift. Second thing you can do from this one, after you punch down the hook, is that you just move your hips to the side. I think about it as going from this side with my hips and then following his knee line. So I bring my hips to the side and I follow his knee line. And again, once we drop our elbow, for him it's extremely hard to get me off anymore. Shoulder grip, elbow for instance, and you go to the second side. And as we talked before, you want to do the knee cut more or less similarly on the both sides, so we can try this exercise also from the other side. So he's framing. With this hand, again, I'm pushing into my opponent. Without pressure, I will not be able to do this technique, because now he doesn't need to frame actively if I'm not leaning into him. But here, he feels like he's achieving something by pushing me away, whilst he's actually just giving me the entry that I'm looking for. Elbow goes towards his ribs, and now with this hand, you just want to reach the mat, curl his body, and now from here, we need to clear this knee line. It's quite easy if you just turn your knee sideways, elbow goes towards the floor, and you will walk until you arrive right here to deep side control. In this case, the elbow is under my hip, so I will not go digging for the elbow. I will just go for his head and enjoy the deep side control. You can start to practice this move by arriving to the position and having your opponent push you off a few times. So you lean in, he's pushing off. I lean in, he's pushing off. And on the third one, you lean back extra millimeter and you punch down the hook, frame on the floor. Go back and have your opponent do the same exercise again. So you push, lean back. This needs to be almost automated. For me, I'm looking for this quite often. So I push and I turn. It's a very fast move. You arrive very deeply into the side control. From here, you already know we have to clear the knee line. So you can do this by bringing the head, moving your hips to a circular motion like this, dropping the elbow, holding the shoulder, lifting, sliding, and passing his guard.
One question. So when you're making the underhook first, what if I bring my leg? So I'm here now, and you have this. What if this happens?
Yeah, this happens sometimes. Now I really need to pull you
Yeah.
to me, so I would probably use my left hand to pull.
Yeah.
Make my right one very strong, and now I'll just use my hand to step over.
Okay.
And now we're
But you're gonna clear that before you.
correct. Yeah, from here to pass it would be quite difficult because now I'm wide open for counterattack, so I would need to clear. But basically, if I just bring this back, it's gonna be hard for you to do this. But that's a counter that they can do. But it's still easy to get rid of if I do a good job with the controlling the hips.
Right on.